The crucial voting bloc finding itself at the center of attention in Pennsylvania's highly competitive Senate race. Democrat John Fetterman and Republican Dr. Mehmet Oz both trying to win over black voters in and around Philadelphia. A Fox News poll shows Fetterman with a 28-point lead, among non-white voters. Dr. Oz is trying to bring that down. He joins us now, and you're actually in Philadelphia right now. What do you try to tell black voters about your message, and do you emphasize inflation or crime, both? What's the mix?
Well, the big concern in Philadelphia is crime, and we just did a town hall around heroin injection sites, which my opponent, John Fetterman, has advocated for. People here aren't having any of it. They think they're part of a social experiment conducted on them, as they say, by white woke people who don't deal with the consequences of some of these decisions. But if you're going to allow the decriminalization of all drugs, which my opponent has advocated for, you're going to create scenarios like they're experiencing in Oregon, where you have a 40% increase in drug overdose deaths and a 50% increase in homicides, because you create a lawless environment. And it seems to a lot of the voters inside of Philadelphia that the criminals are being valued more than the innocent. And for good reason they feel this, because again, John Fetterman's advocated for releasing 1/3 of prisoners, all prisoners, doesn't believe there should be life sentences for murderers. He wants to end cash bail. That prevents cops from doing their jobs. And without police, and by the way, no one's entering the police force. They're way down. Even though they have the money to fund more spots, no one wants to be an officer in Philadelphia. That's why the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed me unanimously, because they need their backs covered.
Dr. Oz, I want you to listen to this. Brian Yanis, our reporter, sat down with Congressman Malcolm Kenyatta. He had some strong words about how he feels about your candidacy. Watch here.
I don't think Dr. Oz gives a damn about people in Philadelphia who have buried loved ones, who are living with gunshots ringing outside of their windows. He's not talking to regular people. He's not showing up to funerals to console parents. He has no record of doing it.
How would you respond?
It's a desperate swipe at me. He knows none of those realities are in fact true. I've done everything you can do, not just as a candidate, but before I became a candidate. I started a program called #MoreBlackDoctors to get more black students to become physicians. I've been to Kensington multiple times. Even before I was a candidate, it's the largest open-air drug market in the country, caused directly by weak left radical positions on drug use in the city of Philadelphia. But Democratic candidates won't go down there. Why not? Because they don't want to deal with the embarrassing reality of their out-of-touch policies. Here's the reality that people have to focus on. We are recklessly endangering law-abiding citizens with the rules that are now enacted in Philadelphia. Public safety is the cornerstone of a healthy economy. Just last night, a major chain said they're going to remove 2 of their stores from downtown Philadelphia because of concerns about safety. Families are leaving Philadelphia. They don't feel safe. If you live in any of these drug-infested areas, you can't even go into your homes. The local stores can't open. And here's one big message. The Democrats are raising money for John Fetterman despite these realities, because they don't know it's true. The money's coming from outside Pennsylvania. If you're worried about this and their desire just to vote for Fetterman to get the 51st Senate vote, please go to droz.com and support me. But this is actually about specific policies that are hurting specific people. We will win on November the 8th because we're on the right side of reality on these topics.
You have narrowed the gap, right? The Fetterman's lead was quite considerable before this last several weeks as you've been focusing on the issues. But another issue has been the question of John Fetterman's health. I understand he has just put out a new ad. Let's take a look at it here and get your reaction on the other side.
After my stroke, I was just grateful to see Giselle and our kids. Politicians spend so much time fighting about the things that don't matter. I'll always be focused on what does. Access to health care, lower costs, good jobs, more time with those we love.
Dr. Oz, do you think his health matters in this race? And how would you weight it compared to the issues that we talked about in the first part of this interview?
I have tremendous compassion for what John Fetterman has gone through. I'm a heart specialist, so I deal with heart failure and irregular heartbeats and strokes, the things that have been plaguing him. This is about transparency for voters. Voters deserve to know everything they need to know about the two candidates that they're going to choose from so they can make an educated decision. And John has not been willing to release his medical records. In a recent interview just this week, he refused 12 times in one interview to release information that everyone's called on him, from the major papers here in Pennsylvania to the New York Times, Washington Post. Just share your medical records so we know what's going on. And come out and debate me more than once at the very end of this campaign so voters can make a choice about your ability to serve. But there's no question, the big topic here are the kitchen table issues that I've been campaigning on, and getting my opponent to talk about the economic issues brought upon by his party and his support for increased taxes, which he's not paid his own 67 times, his inability to defend his positions, radical ones, on crime, and his inability to defend his positions on fentanyl in particular in this state, which is ravaging our small towns, is challenging for anybody to acknowledge. You have to at least come clean on what you stand for, or at least debate me so I can ask you the open questions and you have a chance to open the dialogue.
Let's talk about that. Just, we have a minute left. I want to ask you about that. He only agreed to one debate. There are going to be some aids in order to help him, technology that can help him in order to be able to respond. How are you preparing for that one and only debate that's happening next Tuesday?
I'm going to go into these topics that we've been covering on not just your show, but frankly every show these days. The kitchen table issues of economic pain for Americans who are suffering terribly and they don't feel like anyone's hearing them, the reality that we're unable to keep our city streets safe, and the fact that we have an open border which has allowed cartels to run not just human trafficking operations but fentanyl across the border. Today in Pennsylvania, just announced, the state troopers say they have confiscated 7 times more fentanyl than they confiscated in 2020. It's all over the place. People are not paying attention to the small little side shows. They want to know, what are you going to do to fix my life? Because we all feel in danger now.
Right. Well, you're in Philadelphia today. I know you'll be campaigning up until then. We are looking forward to watching that debate between you and John Fetterman. Thank you, Dr. Oz.
Take care, Dana.